Hi, you guys. I know, as always, it's been a long time, but I've just had a really hard week and I needed a distraction. So I thought I would come on here and jump on the Eries Witchcraft. And I actually seen it first from Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension, the Alice in Wonderland hashtag. So my shelf looks a mess because I just went and pulled out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in my deck. So it's looking a little disheveled back there, but let's go ahead and jump into it. So, what a fun tag. Thank you, Courtney, for creating it. I totally need this distraction right now. My precious little rescue dog that I call Grandma Lady, but her name was Helen. I had to put her down yesterday. She was in kidney failure, so it's just a really hard time, and sometimes you just need a distraction from life, so I thought this would be fun. Okay, so the first one is, what deck takes you down a rabbit hole? Now, this is going to be a deck that most people probably aren't familiar with, but if you've been following me or you listen to any of my lives, you've probably heard me talk about it. So this is the Brotherhood of the Light tarot cards. And this is the original from like the 40s. Oh no, sorry, this is from copyrighted in 1936, renewed in 1964. So this is the 1964 edition. I'm part of this organization. They have since changed the name of the organization is no longer Brotherhood of the Light. It's called the Church of Light now. And you could go to churchoflight.org, or is it just light.org? I actually just think it's light.org. The interesting thing is, so it is an Egyptian themed deck. Try to get these to focus. But the correspondences are not the same. So, for instance, the pentacles are air and the swords are earth. So that's a really hard one to wrap your head around. The tens are their own thing. The tens are separate. So you got 1 through 9, and then tens are like their own kind of thing. And then the quartz, it's just a very unique system. And I definitely have been studying it now for, I want to say like 3 years. That's what the back of the cards look like. And they do give you the decans for, like, they give you the astrological associations for each card. They also give you the decan. They give you the Hebrew letter. They give you just it's a thorough system, but the whole like switching of the pentacles and the swords is just, I mean, I heard the explanation. I can't really remember what. It was something to do with, like, before something can manifest into the physical, you have to think of it first. I still don't understand why you would need to switch them, but, like, just to give you an idea, this is the guidebook that goes with it. You can see how much I've been studying it, but it's a study deck. I don't read with it. And just because you study something doesn't mean that you have to, like, subscribe to those ideals. You can still always choose to, stay on the road that you're on. But I like to know all the things. So, definitely my rabbit hole, and a rabbit hole that I am still in is the Brotherhood of the Light Egyptian tarot. So there's that. Now the key is going to be, where do I put everything once I have gotten it all out? I don't want to make a giant mess, and you guys know me. I can't be bothered to edit. anything, so I'll just put it right back in. Okay. So number 2, what makes me smile like the Cheshire Cat has to be, I mean, there's so many, right? We wouldn't really be buying all of these decks if they didn't make us smile, but I would say the one for me is the Last Unicorn. I feel like there's some misconception around this because I always see in the tarot buy sell trade groups, people are always looking for it. It's still available. It's not out of print. You just need to go to Geekify. I think that's what it's called, geekify.com. I did get the collector box, but I also got a backup to this, so I have just the regular box. Everything about it is magical. This was one of my favorite movies as a child. I'm a Gen X baby, 45 almost. I'm 44, I'll be 45 in December. So this was like, you know, an important childhood staple up there with like, you know, I probably watched this more times as a child than I watched Disney. So, just a gorgeous, you know, gold gilding. The cardstock is a dream. And it just makes me so happy and brings back such childhood memories that I would definitely say I loved her. And I cried the way that I cried at the end of this movie. I mean, and I was scared that the bold devil, we'll see when we get to him, he was scary, man. I can't remember if he had a name or not. This guy was scary too. The dad. I'm like singing the song in my head right now. The Last Unicorn. I shouldn't sing though. I want to get to a picture of, and this part made me cry too. When she was in the cage, remember when she got kidnapped and put into the circus and was in that cage with that scary lion next door? And he is just the sweetest. Merlin was just like, look at this 7 of Cups, or 9 of Cups, sorry. Like, so beautiful. Here's the scary bull devil. Like, he was scary and he would run the unicorns off the cliff, if you remember. So this deck, you know, although I don't really read with it, because I don't really read with any of my collector's decks. I'm more of a collector, and I just read with my RWS. But beautiful box. I mean, it really wasn't that much more. I think just the regular box, just like in a regular cardboard box, I think the deck is around 65 or 70. So an extra like 25 or something for the wooden box to me was totally worth it. So that's that deck. Number 3, Tweedledee Tweedledum matching set. Now, I don't have a whole lot of matching sets. I only had 2 that I could have chosen from. The one that I chose is the Chakra Wisdom deck by Tori Hartman. But I also have the matching Oracle and Tarot to the Everyday Witch, which I could have used. But the Chakra Wisdom Oracle was my first Oracle deck. So even though I purchased my first tarot deck in the 90s, the Mythic Tarot, my first Oracle deck was in like 2016 or something, which was this. And I don't love it, I'll be honest, I really don't. But it was my first Oracle deck, so I keep it. But, you know, each of the cards are in a color so that they match to a chakra. And I just think she's kind of out there, honestly. No offense to Tori Hartman. She's very eccentric, and I'm too practical, maybe, just to get her style. But these tell like fables, which is cool. But they just, to me, like, if you read these honestly, just purely intuitively. So, for instance, what does this say? Perfection. What is that? What would that evoke for you? Well, okay, it's red. So we know that it has to do with the root chakra. Root chakra has to do with fear. So like I can read them that way. But if I ever crack open her guidebook for any reason, and I even bought like I went all in and got like the study guide and everything. She's just a little too far out there for me. If you're somebody who's very, I mean, I'm a free thinker, but I still need it to make sense. I don't know how to explain it, but for instance, so she doesn't call them fables, she calls them legends. So the legend for this card of perfection, it says, Raspberry needs no makeup to accentuate her exquisite features, but she wears it anyway. She is a perfectionist. She speaks the truth at all times, believing that she is helping others by sharing her truth. While statements such as, "Your child is overweight," are honest, they make others avoid her. So she's a bitch. Raspberry says things too bluntly. She seeks the advice of her favorite, Elderberry, who teaches her that honesty without kindness is cruelty. Her new vulnerability allows her to see the beauty in others as well as herself. Okay, fine, cute little story, right? Interpretation. Are you being too hard on yourself and consequently on others? Begin to look for what's right and what's good in your world, and you will see it. So that was actually a pretty good one. And maybe, you know how sometimes you just don't connect to a deck at first and then you go back and revisit. I could maybe go back and revisit these cards, but I don't really read with Oracle very often anymore. So I don't know. I feel like, buy it used. There's probably a lot of used copies of it out there. I keep it because it's more of like a sentimental thing. And so that's the Oracle. And then the Tarot deck came out like 2 years ago, I think. And I was pretty sure I wasn't going to like it based on the Oracle deck, but I went ahead and bought it anyway just because like I don't have a lot of matching sets. And I thought, okay, let's just give it a try. So the Tarot is similar. Like there's, the whole colors of the chakra. So depending on the color of the card, it matches up with that chakra association. They're kind of like, I don't know what these style of cards are called, where hyper realistic kind of, it's not my favorite photo real list. I don't know what this style is called, but they're really pretty. If somebody's into this style of art, then you might really like it. I'm trying to find the sweet spot where these will, what is the word I'm looking for right now? My brain's not working. Focus. I'm trying to get these to focus. I don't know, you guys. I think they're just not for me. There's not any of the symbolism that I really want to see in a card. They're just a little too contemporary. Maybe that's how I would feel about it. So I picked it because I could have picked the Everyday Witch, but I'm not really that big of a fan of that either. So I'm not really that big of a fan of either of my matching sets. And there's going to come a time real soon here that I'm going to need to start clearing house because I'm running out of room. So those might be up for grabs at some point. Okay, number 4, Red Queen, my Nemesis deck, which is the just Thoth. The Thoth deck is my nemesis because I love it and I am so dedicated to learning and I study. Maybe I'm just trying to overcomplicate things because I take it so seriously that I make it too hard. But like, I just can't read with it. You know what I mean? Like I want to, and I study and study and study. I think I heard Courtney saying that she was really looking to dive into the Thoth deck as well. And I will recommend, of course, you know, most people are going to end up getting this book to study. But I would recommend to anybody trying to study the Thoth system. Yes, of course, you have to have the classic Book of Thoth by Aleister Crowley. But this book, I don't really think you're going to be able to absorb until you... I would recommend this one by Lon Milo Duquette. Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot. This one, finally, I could start to make some sense out of it. That's funny. I've got the blank card from Last Unicorn in here as a bookmark, but this is a really good book if you want to, you know, dive deep. But I'll pick it up here for a couple weeks or a month, and then I kind of put it away and try to absorb it, and then I'll pick it back up in a couple months, and that's kind of, you know, the approach that I'm taking, because I'm not trying to rush the relationship. I'm not trying to rush the process. So Thoth is only my nemesis because it's like I have such a desire to work with it, but it's making me work really hard. Like, it's really making me put in a lot of effort, which I'm okay with. But, you know, I think there's also a lot of like hoity-toity kind of like, there's a hierarchy in the tarot world of people that are like, they poo-poo on the RWS, and I feel like we're meant to kind of feel like we have to pick sides, and I'm never going to do that. Like, I want to love Thoth, and I do, and I'm learning it, and I'm putting all the work into it, but like, that doesn't mean I have to like dislike my RWS. So that kind of stuff is just a little bit annoying, but that's not the deck's fault. That's more of the tarot community, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my nemesis. Okay, what else do we have here? The Drink Me deck, the smallest decks, have two. So I have a little mini version of the Brotherhood of Light cards that a friend made me. It's just the majors. It's just the major arcana. But like, look how stinking cute. Again, I doubt these are gonna... That's the moon. Like, I can barely even hold them up. We've got too much light. My lighting is not working. I bought this new big ring light, and for one thing, it makes it hot as shit in here. Let's see if that helps. Kinda. Okay, so I've got those. And then I also have a very, 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 very tiny SKT Vitruvian Mini. Benebell put this available for I think it was on her website, and you could print it out. And then you had to like print it out, cut out the cards, like fold the box together. It was like a lot of work. I didn't do it. A member of my group, Oracle Obsessed, did it, and look, it even has like a little white book. Like, she even stapled it and everything. Like, whoever did this went through all the trouble to like do it the right way. It's pretty special to me. And I had purchased a book a different deck from her used. And I don't know why she went ahead and included this too. But like, that's... And then there's also, which I'm just noticing because I don't think I've opened this for a very long time. There's a little table of correspondence, says SKT Angels and Quartz. A little table to let you know how the guides, strongholds are pages, shining ones are knights, shields are queens, and archangels are kings. I probably should have done this video as an overhead so you guys could actually see things. But why did I build this beautiful background whenever I film, I can never get a good quality video? It's kind of frustrating. But this is just the camera from my computer. Maybe if I actually put my phone up on the tripod. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this all back together. So those are my little tiny baby decks. I noticed that Rochelle put up her, what is it? The Earth and Roots and Wings Oracle, which I also have and love. I didn't realize that they ever had sold a bigger version of it. I've just always had the little tin, so I think I'm going to have to get that bigger one too. But those are my two little minis. Then we have the Eat Me deck. So I have a lot of large decks, but the one that came to mind, because I've been using it, it was already on my desk, is my giant RWS deck. This is such a good deck for teaching. I have been doing some classes lately on the major arcana, and if anybody wants to join, get in my snip feed link below. We're doing 3 keys each class. They're about 90 minutes, only $11, and we're like going really deep here on the symbolism. So when you're teaching, like, if all my cards were this big, look at, they would have shown up. So finally we have something that's showing up. So yeah, just a fun, nice deck for illustration. It's nice when you're taking pictures. They show up really nice. So that's my Eat Me deck. Okay, your late FOMO deck is 100%. I didn't even have to think about it. My Ma Tarot by Julie Kusha Watts. Because I didn't learn about this deck until way after it was like out of print. And I don't know what it was. I was like obsessed with it immediately, had to have it, paid way too much. To this day, it's still the most expensive deck I've ever purchased. I paid over $400 for it. Do I think it was worth it now? Probably not, but I'm glad that I have it. I didn't realize that you can still get this printed. You just can't get a signed and number copy. But like, honestly, was that worth the extra $400? Probably not. This could have been an Eat Me deck. Yeah, it could have been the Eat Me deck because it's so big. But this is my FOMO deck. So I had to have it so freaking bad. I have her Ancestral Path Tarot, which is also what Rochelle used for her Eat Me deck, I think. But all of Julie's cards are, this bigger size, which I love for, just her artwork is so beautiful. Like, why not really be able to, maybe if I turn the light, it's nice to be able to see the artwork up close. But I was under the impression, and the thing is, I had, why is my ear itching so much? I had watched several unboxings on YouTube, but when you're like wanting something and you're in that FOMO, you're not really paying attention. And so I was somehow surprised when I got it that it wasn't more of an Egyptian themed deck. Really, the only card that's Egyptian themed is the Justice card, which is Maat. But I was under the impression the deck was going to be like an Egyptian themed deck, and it's not. Now, since then, I have picked up her Journey into Egypt deck, and I am going to be picking up her Real Sky deck. I have her Real Sky book. But, so, I mean, I love it still. But I probably should have just let my FOMO chill out a little bit before I went and freaking spent $400 for this deck. So that's that. Okay, my White Queen deck, which is a colorful and lighthearted deck. And this is a deck that I was sent by a group member, and her friend designed it. It's called Tarot of the Kingdoms. Tarot of the Kingdoms, and it's very pastel and like It's such a high quality deck. I really don't know why she never got like the traction that I feel like it deserved. But it didn't. Very much like mermaids and unicorns and, you know, like I said, the pastel artwork. She did all the art herself. Who is it by? I think you can still get it on Amazon. By Paige Ozma Ashmore. Tarot of the Kingdoms by Paige Osmore Asma. And it's just a really ethereal, mythical, if you're into like a lot of color and pastels, but it's not like, I still don't think it's overtly feminine. Like, I feel like it's still a good balance. That is the nice quality guidebook. There was some things that were different about this deck when I did the unboxing. I do have a full unboxing of this a couple years back. If you're interested in watching that, you can go find it. I can't remember what it was. She switched a couple things around in this, which were kind of interesting, but I think got a little bit controversial in the beginning as well. But I can't remember what it is because it's been so long. Oh, sorry, you guys. I'm just emotionally exhausted. I probably shouldn't even be making this video. I'm just literally distracting myself. Number 9, the Mad Hatter artwork that's crazy. For me, I chose the Mary Day Tarot. This is a deck that's out of print, but it was made back in the 90s, and I wish that she would have done a full guidebook with it because it's such an interesting deck. This is the only guidebook that you get. Instead of a little white book, you get a little fold out. There. Okay. I don't care for the back art very much, but the front art is pretty good. There's the Fool. It looks like he's wearing a Jane Fonda like workout unitard, but I love it. It's a really cool deck. And the artwork is just, I've never seen anything like it. I do have a full unboxing of this as well, if you're interested. I do actually have, I think, one completely in the cellophane brand new deck for sale. If anybody's interested in that, you can reach out to me. If not, I'm just hanging on to it till I see somebody asking for it in one of the tarot buy sell trade groups. Tea Party deck. Golden Girls, which is going to make me sad because it reminds me of my old grandma lady dog. The Golden Girls deck for sure, because when I think Tea Party, I just think kind of women, old women. Maybe we'll try the light again. Blanche. I'm totally a Blanche. 100%. I bet Blanche was a Capricorn. Blanche is the biatch lady, right? Like the kind of stern one. Sophia is the mom. Who's the... No, it's Blanche Devereaux. Who's the kind of hoe? What's her name? Betty. No. Betty plays... Betty plays Rose. So Betty is Rose. I'm pretty sure Blanche is Sophia's daughter, right? This is Sophia from Sicily. Little Italian grandma. But I'm mixing up Blanche and the one that's like living her best life. Hooking up with all the guys at the community. What is her name? Blanche and... the characters from the Golden Girls.
The Golden Girls features 13 major characters.
Blanche is the hoe. That's why I kept... Dorothy. Dorothy. I'm Dorothy. Blanche, we love, but like I'm totally a Dorothy. Dorothy is just cynical and, you know, kind of mean. Sophia. The other deck that I thought about getting out for the tea party is my Housewife's Tarot, which is really funny. I love that deck. It's really a smart ass deck, which I can appreciate. Aw, that made me so sad after Betty White died. Total 8 of Cups moment. So yeah, my tea party deck is going to be the Golden Girls for sure. Because, I mean, like, old ladies like to tea party. And so, why not? That's me right there. Dorothy. So, Golden Girls. And I know that it did get really expensive after Betty White passed away. I don't know if it's truly out of print or not, but I had already had it before then, so I can't say if it's still available or not. My Jabberwocky deck, a dark and mysterious deck, for sure is, to me, the Marielle. I have the first edition. I can get it open. Look. And it's a beautiful deck. It's pretty big too, actually, but the art is just very macabre in my opinion. But like, I love it. It's gilded. Love that card. King of Cups. I think it's because the lighting outside keeps changing. Honestly, that's why else it's so hard to get a good... Look at that 9 of Pentacles, you guys. Which, you know, you would just think that was the devil, but that's the 9 of Pentacles. So, yeah. My Jabberwocky deck is the Marielle. Now, I don't know what adjustments or changes were made from the first edition to the second. I don't even know right now. I think there might even be a third. Maybe not. I've had this deck for a long time as well. Marielle. And finally, the deck that always takes me down a rabbit hole. So similar to my Nemesis deck. It's a Thoth-based deck. But because Thoth was such a Nemesis deck, I thought, okay, I need to find a different system that's Thoth-based that's going to be able to help me learn. And I got the Patch Tarot, which, you guys, if you've been watching Spirit Science like I have for like 10 years, I was watching Spirit Science back when, what's his name, before he went born again Christian? Jordan? Or is Jordan the one that's still left? Anyways, I've watched Spirit Science on YouTube. If you don't know what that is, you should go watch it. There's tons of videos, and they make all their content with these little patch cartoon characters, and it just makes it really like easy to learn about spiritual concepts and precepts, and makes it like not intimidating, and just makes it entertaining, and they're really like short and concise. So I think like 3 years ago he came out with this system. It's a Thoth system. It's not cheap, and totally got to get the guidebook. Like, look at this monster. I've been wanting to do a full like review of this deck for a while now, because I've been so impressed with the guidebook, but I just haven't. Like, this is heavy duty. So I think it was like around 130 for the book and the deck. It's got some nice keywords on there for both the upright and the reversals. So for people that are learning, it's nice for them too. So for instance, the High Priestess, for the upright, of course, intuition. And then on the reverse, it says doubt. So instead of trusting your intuition, you're doubting yourself. You're doubting your intuition. You're doubting your power. So I love that it's got those, just one little keyword for each one. Look at how, this is so good. Look at their moon card with Anubis, which I don't know if you guys can see my altar to Anubis right here that I was using to assist my sweet grandma girl in her transition to the afterlife. It was just such a beautiful thing. I probably need to make a video talking about my experience with that, because it was pretty profound. And I was looking for a death doula, and I'm pretty sure that I already am one. And I already knew this. Helen was my second senior rescue dog in 3 years. So I've lost 2 dogs in 3 years. When I got Helen, I knew that I wasn't going to have her very long. I thought that I would at least have her for a year. Her year anniversary would be in November. I got her around the black new moon of November, because I originally named her Lilith. And she had no name. She was found on the streets, abandoned. And so they had named her Darla at the rescue, because the name of the rescue was Dachshund Rescue of LA. So DRLA, Darla. And I thought the name was adorable, but I don't know, when I got her on the new moon, I just wanted to, it was the Scorpio new moon. I wanted to name her Lilith. And when I got her home, we found out she was deaf and she was almost blind. And my husband wanted to name her Helen Killer, because she would try to bite us and she has no teeth. So we just named her Helen. But then, I just fell in love with her so quickly. She's just such a pure soul. I just called her Grandma. Grandma Lady, Yady. That's what I would call her. So anyways, after this experience, because my first rescue, Mia, she was also a black tweenie. She passed away suddenly of a heart attack while we were on family vacation in Hawaii. So even though it was devastating because I wasn't prepared for it, it didn't help me to learn anything about the, process of dying, where this watching transition with Grandma Lady for the whole entire time, it's like a birth process. It's a reverse birth process, and birth can take 12 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours. It can take, it's a process, labor and preparing the body and all of that. And that is the same thing with death. And I learned so much, and I had so many really crazy experiences. Her little bed would go right there. And I don't know if you guys can see, probably not, but I have her little bed down there with a rose quartz, you can't see it. I have a rose quartz, like, crystal skull on it, just kind of holding her place. But she was there, and she got to transition over in my office when I got her home, when I first rescued her last year, and I brought her into the house. She had no idea where she was at or where she was going, and she walked right into the house, and she walked right into this office. Like, she knew where to go. And of course this was her sanctuary, but where was I going with this? Maybe I just needed to purge this, but I'm sorry if, this is probably not why you're watching this video, but I was sitting here with her She passed yesterday morning. It was the day before, and she was very close to the veil for at least 24 hours, like if not more, maybe 30 hours. Like pretty much every time I walked away, I was convinced I was going to come back and she was going to be gone because that's how close she was. And I was just sitting here with her, and all of a sudden, you know how like when you're meditating, your eyes kind of start. I was crying so hard that I took my glasses up, and you're just kind of like your eyes start to go out of focus. And all of a sudden, I could see this rainbow aura right over her. And I kept like blinking my eyes and wiping my eyes off, and that aura stayed there. And I know that people say that when pets pass away, they cross over the rainbow bridge, but like I wasn't expecting to see an actual like rainbow over her. It was just very, very cool. And then the last night, so not last night, but Thursday night over to Friday, the last night that I had with her, and I just slept with her right in my arm the whole night. And she just kept waking up, and she's almost deaf. I mean, she's all the way deaf, but she was almost blind. And she kept waking up, and she was just looking around like she was seeing, you know, whatever dogs see, whoever their guides are. But she could see, and I could just see it in her face, and her eyes they were so big, and she would just look around, you know. So, it was a very special, sacred experience, you know. And I built the altar to Anubis to help her in that transition, and offered him tobacco. And there's that little white cup has vodka in it, and then the big cup has water, and anointed her with frankincense, and did Reiki and crystal bowl. My crystal bowl's out to just really, you know, thin the veil as thin as possible. And then when we finally, you know, had given her enough time and just thought, well, she needs a little assistance, we had a vet come to the home, and she went so quickly and so easily. And I know that is because all the work that we did, I did the 2 and 3 days before to just help her lighten the body and thin the veil and help her to transition. So it was just beautiful. Maybe I'll do a whole video on that experience. But back to the video at hand here, which is this patch tarot, which if you're looking for a Thoth system that is a little more user friendly to build the relationship. Of course, ultimately I'm going to work up to the, you know, traditional Thoth, but this is what I would recommend. And just the guidebook alone is worth, you know, every penny. It is substantial. Like, this book has got to weigh 8 or 9 pounds. So you go to spiritscience.com to get this. That is the rabbit hole that I'm currently on. That's my Alice deck. I mean, I'm on 50 rabbit holes at a time, but thank you again to Courtney for this awesome tag. And of course, Rochelle, who I always see her videos come up, and I'm so excited to see her, incense Keefe come to pass. I've been watching that every day. If you've made it this far into the video, thanks for listening to me ramble. And I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.